Check. All right, what's up, guys? You got Rick Segrist here. We got Brooke Holmes. Excited to be on camera. Why? Brooke's embarrassed that she was diddling on her phone. If you guys don't know Brooke, Brooke's my significant other. And it's a snow day. We're just gonna work through some mobility stuff. Kind of a casual movement, right? The last year that we've been doing these videos, we've been kind of rushing through warm-ups a little bit. So we'll put a little extra emphasis on this warm-up. I'm gonna break it out so that if you guys choose to do this, you can do it on its own, or you could do it leading into another workout. But I'm planning on 10, 15 minutes, just get those joints moving. And this is typically what we do in class. We spend about 10 minutes. So this may be a little extra work here, a little more extended. But the idea is that in doing these warm-ups, we get some range of motion work. We spend a lot of time in those joints. So specifically in joints and range of motion stuff, if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's why we do this. Let's go ahead and just start down on our backs, hanging out here. You can give both knees a pull towards that chest, or you can start playing around with individual knee pulls here. And as we start going through this, if you go into those individual knee pulls, I like to move that ankle around in some big controlled circles. Then I also like to think about pushing my leg back into my hands to provide a little bit of resistance and a little bit of tension. So not just putting my body into positions, but actively trying to create some tension and strength there. Good, guys. Same thing when we pull that leg out to our side. My hands providing a little bit of resistance there, and then I'm kicking my knee, trying to bring my knee back towards that center position. So fighting against myself here. And then we'll go over and across. And if that right leg's coming towards the left side of your body, if you turn that head towards the right, just a little extra twist there. Good, guys, taking it into the other side. Good, again, controlling those ankle motions, big circles, one way, the other way. Just play around with it. We'll take that leg out wide. And then over and across. The day we're recording this, it was supposed to be 2 feet of snow. It was kind of a letdown, but it's starting to pick up. So that's fun. Maybe I'll turn the camera around so you guys can see it. Not that you necessarily care.
Are they living in it?
I mean, they're living in it, but they might not, maybe they do this video 6 months from now. We're gonna stay down on the ground, okay? Again, taking our time here, thinking about our shoulders, thinking about opening up that chest, okay? And this is kind of a general warm up here, so you get a little bit of everything, but I'm rolling around and through, and I'm thinking about tracing my fingertips on the floor here and trying to make a big semicircle, half circle as I reach one way and then come back to that starting position. You can go for about 4 or 5. Good, letting those legs carry over to the other side. This is one of my favorite little stretches. Just feels like a classic, like arms extended out with a big yawn. Good, guys. We'll roll over towards this tabletop position and slowly just working our way from the ground to standing. So somewhere in between here. A couple of spinal movements. We'll get some as we stand too, but working through a few cat-cows here. So looking up, looking down, pushing the ground away, tucking that tailbone. This position was made famous by Cat Stevens Cowell. Professor Cat Stevens Cowell. Cat cowl.
What?
Is that what it's called? Cat cowl?
I always thought it was cow, but someone said it was cowl the other day. Like,
I still haven't Googled it.
I haven't either.
There was a debate in one of my classes whether it was cow or cowl. Good, guys. We'll take that to some lateral motion here. So hips, shoulders, head, moving to one side, moving to the other side, and just a little added benefit here. We're putting a little bit of weight into our wrist. Since we said wrists here, we're going to add those spinal movements in with some of those wrist motions. So I'm going to load up my hips here and then just rocking around and over, pulling around and through. Just giving a varying amount of intensity based on how much my weight is shifting over my hands into those wrists. Good, guys. You can turn those fingers back towards you. It's basically a wrist lock.
It is.
Yeah. And then pulling your hips back towards yourself to make it a little more intense here. And then if you want to play around with trying to make, actually, I don't know what I want to play with. Making a little fist there. That's not what I wanted. Well, just play around with it. There's a bunch of variations you can do here. Nothing. I just got lost in what I was thinking of. Good, guys. From those little wrist motions, God damn it, we're gonna kick into a full plank position here. And all we're gonna work through is sinking those hips down low. So a good way to kind of open up those hips. Don't avoid eye contact. You can pivot on those toes, looking over shoulders. And then pushing the ground away. Good. Huh?
You're teaching yoga now?
No. Good, guys. Just a couple transitions here. One more time. Dropping those hips down. And then push in. Those hips up high. Trying to get that chest towards those thighs. Pushing the ground away. And then we'll slowly walk those hands close to our feet here. And then what I'm going to do is just sink down into the bottom of my squat position. Just hanging out here for a second. Peeping Brooke. Nice deep squat. And if you guys have a kettlebell handy, something nearby, a good way to kind of practice on getting that depth there. Wow, look outside, Brooke. Looks intense. A good way to kind of practice working on that depth is if you have something in front of you that you can hang on to that'll help you kind of pull your chest up, right? So a little bit of weight might work for you, or if you have some sort of pole to pull onto. But just trying to think about getting our butt as close to our heels as possible. Nice proud chest. See if you can get that arm in that overhead position. It's a tough move. On my left side, I don't really have it. Yeah, you're looking pretty good.
I feel that in my upper back.
Yeah. Good, hanging out in this squat. And the idea here is we're trying to be as tall as we can in our torso. So my butt's coming down towards the ground, but the top of my head is extending towards the ceiling. Just trying to create some length there. Might feel those ankles burning a little bit. And you can even play around with heel toeing, feet in closer together. Maybe you don't need that weight. Actually, that weight helps me keep my chest up. So hanging on to that. I'm starting to feel mid-back too.
Yeah.
Ankles, mid-back.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's rough.
Hell yeah. Good, guys. We'll heel toe out of that. We'll slowly stand it up here. Working through some shoulder motions. And actually, we'll start at top of our head. Just kind of work our way down here. We're about 8 minutes into this, so we'll spend about maybe 4 more minutes here, even though I threw up 5. 4 more minutes. Let's go hands interlaced back behind us. So that's naturally going to pull those shoulder blades down and back. And then just bring in ear to shoulder. You can look over shoulders. Good, guys. And you can draw some nice big controlled circles here. And I'm sure if you've been on here for a while, at some point I brought all of these movements into the warm-ups. Just a little bit more focus on it. Okay, guys, last one. Chin coming out. Try not to make a funny face. And then pulling that chin in. It's hard to talk when you pull that chin in. Hey, you're doing a good job not making faces.
We have the same hairdo.
Ah, we have the same hair. Do. A little bit. Nice, guys. From there, take it into those shoulders. So we'll take a couple internal, external rotations, and maybe we just hold those positions for an extra 2-3 seconds. Really try to wring ourselves out and think about pulling those shoulders out of our ears as we go into that internal, external rotation. So it's that scapula pull back. We'll go through that in a second. Good, guys. We can do this with hands extended out. We can also pull those hands back in. But those scapular pulls here, thinking about rolling, I like to start in the position that we're all kind of naturally in. Shoulders rolled internally, right? Chest is kind of caved in. We're gonna think about pulling those shoulders up towards our ears. We're gonna pull them out so we have a nice proud chest, pinching them in the back, and then trying to roll them down so we have space from our shoulders to our ears there. And that's the motion. And sometimes I'm probably more faking it. Brooke would be a good example of it. I feel like I just kind of move my body versus really isolating those big scapulas always sounds wrong to me, but shoulder blades, that's what it is, right? Nice, guys. If you want to play around with alternating, seeing what that control feels like, naturally feel a little flirty, a little sexy going through that motion, especially if you keep your hands on your thighs like that. Good, guys. Taking it out of those shoulders. Okay, still kind of working it all together. Back to that spinal movement, reaching as far as we can, okay? Not just getting into that position, but if we reach our hand into our hip pocket and other hand extends as far as we can that way, you start feeling everything kind of open up. Big breath in the center and then exhaling as you reach in the opposite direction. And if you have a mirror in front of you, you can kind of see what's going on there. Your body's getting to move, or your spine's getting to move laterally, side to side. And we got some of these with those cat-cows on the ground, but we're gonna pinch those elbows in nice and tight, opening up that chest, and then tucking that chin, rounding that spine, butt tucked under us in that forward position. Good, guys. Spending a little extra attention to those hips, taking some big controlled hip circles here. So thinking about pulling that knee up towards our waistline, extending it out towards the side, and then pulling that heel towards the sky before you bring that knee around and through. So you get to work a little balance on this side, flexing that back butt cheek. And then again, all we're doing is really isolating those hip movements. So nothing should be happening here, bracing our abs, protecting that low back, trying to give you a side angle here as we work through just those hip motions. And go ahead and take 4 or 5 controlled one way, and then reverse that action, pull and heel up, around, and through. That one's a little bit more challenging. Nice, Brooke. Once you got that side, going into the other side. And this is gonna be the last 2 minutes here. Knee coming up, around. This side's a little bit harder. Same. Is it for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. And then other direction. I also like this for working on balance too. Especially if we have any workouts that are a little more jumpy or single leg motions, just a good way to warm it up. Coming down to hands on knees. Okay, still thinking about those hips. We're gonna draw our feet, drawing basically circles, putting pressure from the outer edges of our feet over our toes to the inside edges of our feet, and then towards our heels there. Brooke thinks I say heels wrong, which I probably do. Heels. I can't tell the difference. Let me know in the comments. But taking, let's call it 8 big controlled circles here, and we're getting a little bit of everything, right? We're getting our ankles moving, getting our knees moving, right? Really getting those hips nice and lubricated. Nice, reversing that direction. Good, and really think about using those hips to drive those positions and where our body's getting to. Nice, guys. Whenever you got through that, okay, last one here, just playing with those ankles. All we're gonna do is roll over our big toe towards our pinky toe, put a little pressure into that ankle. So just like we did with our wrist, right, where we were down on our knuckles, we're doing the same thing on our feet. Just going from side to side. Nice, guys. That's it as far as that extended, basically an extended warm up, right? Not necessarily meant to get your heart rate up, really just kind of getting the body moving. The way I would use this, if I was feeling sore, right? Maybe before I do a harder workout, I would do this, or even as like a morning routine. In my head, I tell myself that I would love to do this stuff in the morning. It's the application of it that is the problem. So anyways, if you guys are more disciplined than me, that'd be a great way to start every day. Just kind of hitting everything. You'll feel loose, you'll feel limber. Otherwise, that's it, guys. I'm gonna cut this and then roll into our workout. Our workout's gonna be about 15 minutes today, so it's gonna be a quickie. But if you guys wanna join along, that'll be the next video, and we'll see you there, maybe. Otherwise, see ya, bye.